duplicate, making sure that it was reorganized the way that it needed to be, and that all the information within looked consistent. And I can walk through a couple of the other things that I did. We can walk through that actual book once everybody gets on the line.
Catherine, are you there?
Yes, I am, Robert.
All right, and someone else joined.
I'm trying to the screen, but I'm not seeing it.
I'm on here too. This is Eleanor.
All right.
Hi, Eleanor. Hi, Michael.
Hi.
Hey there, how are you?
All right.
Is there anything on the screen?
Not at the moment.
Well, I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
At the moment.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't doing something wrong.
So you're just saying the meeting notice, right?
Your meeting's on the go.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's a circle that keeps moving, so I'll just let it be.
Oh,
Thank you for the meeting, everyone.
You're hearing something beep?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Are you?
No, I thought that's what you said. You said I thought you said you'll just let it beep. I guess you said you'll just let it be.
Yeah, I'll just let the screen be.
Okay. Who just joined?
Cheryl.
All right.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hi.
Hey, Cheryl.
Hi.
All right. Michael, I'm going to give you control of the screen.
Sounds good.
Robert, how will we see? You're getting feedback, aren't you?
Yes. Yes, I am. Did you come on twice again, Cheryl? Let's see here.
I think that's what it is. Let me see, Adelaide.
All right, you guys should see my screen now. Let me know.
Okay, Cheryl, I'm gonna. Yeah, I think you're on here 3 times.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to close you out. Hopefully, I'm not closing out someone else. I don't think I'll be.
Okay.
I still see, Michael, I still see the round ball twirling. Is that a function of my machine?
Yeah, it's from something from GoToMeeting, I think. I would assume.
Okay.
Yeah, because I see myself sharing. I don't know if anybody else is able to see me or not.
I just see your meetings on the go with the ball spinning.
Cheryl, are you still there?
Robert, what did you do?
Cheryl, are you still there?
Right. Am I there more than once?
Okay, I'm gonna talk again, Cheryl, please.
I'm here for sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, but it's not double.
Let's see here. Eleanor, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. All right, I think we're ready. Cheryl, can you talk again?
Okay.
All right, I think we're good. All right, Michael.
Okay.
I just don't see the screen yet.
You should be seeing it, Catherine.
I see a thing twirling around, a little ball. Starting GoToMeeting, it says. Your session should connect in a few seconds. If GoToMeeting does not launch, please download and run GoToMeeting. I already just ran GoToMeeting.
Why don't you get out and come back, Catherine, and we'll wait for you. Because you should
Oh,
be.
you don't have to wait for me. I can do it quickly. Keep
All
going.
all
Don't
right.
waste. I'll do it again. I'll close.
Michael's having some problem right now.
All I see is a blank screen. Should I be seeing something else?
No, Michael is coming back in. I'm looking at a blank screen as well.
Okay.
Okay, I've got the blank screen. At least I've got that far.
Yeah, something happened with Michael. He said he think he got booted. He's calling back in, he said.
Michael's on the list twice.
Yeah.
3 times.
While we're waiting for him on that question about, I was just going through your agenda. Will we be able to see our agenda while he's got control of the screen? Maybe I should have printed it out, or maybe you've got it printed out. There were a lot of good questions on it.
Yeah, I have it printed out.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got control. You're not going to be able to see it.
Okay, but at least you'll have it. And one of the things was about sign-ins. And it seems like I can get to knowledge, I can get to the front end and see everything that's been published if I go knowledge.baywork.org, and that I don't have to sign in. But I'm hoping somebody else knows the answer to this question. If I put as a link in an email, knowledge.baywork.org -knowledge -transfer -toolkit little number 0 title, that works as a link from an email, but it doesn't work if I put that at the top of Chrome.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, that's true. That's true, Cheryl. But you can also get to it just by knowledge.baywork.org and go to the chapters that are published.
Right,
Right
but
now,
what I'm saying, when we want to send demos
One
to
second,
people,
Cheryl. 1 second. Yeah, I can hear you, Michael.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. I just wanted to make sure. All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The knowledge.baywork.org wasn't working for me. That's why I put that question there.
It's working now. But Cheryl, to answer your question, if you want to send people directly to the Knowledge Transfer Toolkit,
yes,
that
yes.
hyperlink, if you can send that hyperlink out, and anybody will be able to access that. That's not a password protected.
Okay,
link.
so it works as a hyperlink in an email. When I try to use Chrome and just put it up in the field in the top, whereas the knowledge.baywork.org works, that doesn't work as a hyperlink when I just enter it on Chrome, and I was just wondering
It
why.
should.
It
It
should.
should.
It does when
You put
I
it
just
to your
clicked
favorite.
the link, and it does when I click it. So I just want to make sure if
Yeah.
it's not working, then that's a little weird.
It wasn't
Well,
working.
it was working when I
yesterday.
had it as a hyperlink in an email. So maybe it's just something about me. Is there anything was there something that I early had a problem with Chrome that you had me go in through another browser, Corey? Do you think it's that?
Well, I use
I think
Chrome.
so. I think Chrome would work because we were having yesterday. We're having a little problem with the knowledge.baywork.org just because it was being worked on. But I think if you try again and put it up in your favorite, in your bookmark on that upper level, it should be able to save just like your extended one that links directly to it.
Right. So again, I'm trying to make sure I've got one that works for everybody that takes them to the front page of Knowledge Transfer Toolkit rather than the front end that shows everything published. Anyway.
Right.
The one I just pasted in the chat will take you directly to the first page of the Knowledge Transfer Toolkit.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Adam, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right.
Yep.
Thanks for posting the agenda in the chat. Adam posted the agenda in the chat. If you don't see that.
Yeah, if you click on the little chat bubble, you should be able to see the agenda as a sidebar, so you can see the presentation and the agenda at the same time.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Can you guys hear okay, or is the background noise bad when I'm unmuted?
It's bothersome.
Okay, I'll mute myself now.
Okay. All right, Michael. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Can you give me presenter again? Because I think it took it away when I got booted.
Got it.
Carol, do you see where the chat
Nope.
is?
Yeah, I've opened it up. That's really helpful. Thanks.
All right. Let me know when you guys can see my screen, which would be the back end of Synapse.
I see it.
All right. Perfect. All right. So I'll walk you guys through all the different changes that we made. I think that's probably the best way, and then we can definitely roll through the agenda. But I just want to point out the different changes that we made so you're aware of them, and a lot of the things will end up getting covered in the agenda anyways. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the Knowledge Transfer Toolkit, and I'm going to hit Edit Book. One other thing that you can do now from this particular screen is if you hover over this little Publish button, there's a Merge button as well. So if you're, for example, working on the work modification book and you want to, and you're completed with it and you want to merge the work modification book into the end of the Knowledge Transfer Toolkit, you can go to the drop-down and you can push Merge, and then it'll select which book you want to merge it into. So we want to merge work modification into the Knowledge Transfer Toolkit. So we select that, and then we hit Merge. And instead of combining the decks, hold on. Instead, I think that's because that was not published. What it does is it makes a copy of both decks combined. So it won't take this deck and immediately put it at the end of the Knowledge Transfer Toolkit, so you can no longer edit these independently of one another. But it will make a, so if I hear, let's see if I go to Edit, then there's this button right over here that says Merge. I can select Knowledge Transfer Toolkit, Merge, and then what it does is you can see it's made a clone of the training and development book, and it has appended everything from that book onto the back of the Knowledge Transfer Toolkit. So this is all the content from the Knowledge Transfer Toolkit, and then this one chapter called Your First Chapter was the one from the Training and Development chapter. So it's very easy now to merge books together, and then let's say, for example, you want to move the merged chapter somewhere else in the overall book. There's this new sidebar that I think you guys have seen before. You can just push this Reorder Chapters button, and then you can just drag it to wherever you would want it to be. And then hit Save.
On the first function, Michael, is if you're trying to add the little thing, an individual chapter to the big thing, then the first one that you press is the little thing and you push Merge, and then the second, then you select what you want to merge it with, and it will originally take it to the end of the bigger thing?
Correct.
Or whatever you selected second?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. So that should make it very easy for you guys to build decks out, build books out as you need them, and then merge them into bigger books.
Will it allow you to merge an unpublished thing into a published thing, or will it only let published things go together?
As of right now, it needs published things to go together. Or unpublished things can go together. But they do currently need to be the same. So my impression was that we weren't going to be merging unfinalized content into a finalized knowledge transfer toolkit. So it made the most sense to finalize and publish so that you could preview what the full chapter would look like, and then you could then merge it to the end of the knowledge transfer toolkit using this method that I just showed you guys, and then reorder the chapters to place it where you'd like it.
That
Do you
makes
guys who are actually doing this have a question about that?
Are there instructions written down about how to do these things?
No, not currently. Right now, I just was showing you guys the new stuff we've added, but I can write out or update the knowledge base with instructions on how to do these things. Yes.
Oh, I'm recording this session, and I'll send a link to you guys afterward.
Thank you, Robert.
So that's one of the newer things that we've very recently added. As far as one of the other things that I know that you guys wanted to talk about were cloning slides. So on any individual slide now, for example, the slide I've got up right now is just the home page of the Knowledge Transfer Toolkit. If I hit this button right here, it'll clone the slide. Am I sure I want to clone this slide? And then it immediately will clone the slide, and you can see it places it right after the slide that we cloned. So this
I
should
have a
make
question. This is Corey. I just had a quick question about once you merged a chapter and then you into a larger book or wherever you want to merge a deck into another deck, and it clones it so the first one stays where it is, and you make any changes, will the changes automatically transfer, or now are they separate, living separately?
they're living separately. They're living
Okay.
separately. So if you do make changes on the draft book before, and I would make sure that you publish it, make sure it looks how you want it to look, and then remerge it into the bigger deck.
Or once it's in the bigger deck and you wanted to make any changes, that would be the place to make it, not in the
Yes.
once you merge it. Okay, thank you.
But in the event that you're going to want to delete the older version of the chapter, on this right-hand side, you can see these are the individual chapter names, and there's this X next to all of them, and then a little pencil. The pencil lets you rename the chapter, but the X lets you delete the chapter. So if you want to just delete resync, you can do that.
Okay, that's powerful and dangerous.
Well, everything now has a
But good to
confirm.
know.
So nothing will happen without this window coming up saying, are you sure you want to delete the slide, or are you sure you want to delete this chapter?
Good.
And in the event that you accidentally hit OK when you don't want to hit OK, this previous versions link right here now stores several different versions. I mean, this is just the clone deck that I made, so this is just the first save of it. If I go back to, for example, the Knowledge Transfer Toolkit, and go to previous versions, you can see there's several different versions from different times of day, every 10 minutes from when you're editing it, and you can just immediately switch to them if you want to redo, undo, or accidentally delete something you don't want to delete.
But that just does previous versions of that one page, not the whole book, right?
No, it's the whole. This is the whole book. This is previous version
okay.
of the whole book. Yeah.
So you said every 10 minutes.
Every 10 minutes, or when somebody hits this save book button manually.
It's like Excel that automatically updates every 10 minutes.
Well, I just wanted to get some clarity on what he means. So the scenario you just said, I accidentally hit the delete button. There's a chance that hadn't been saved. I'm inside that 10-minute mark. Is that an accurate statement?
Well, I mean, it just would basically be reverting to what you had done 10 minutes ago. So, I mean, without doing it every 1 minute, which would be pretty nuts, yeah, you would have to go back to where you were at 10 minutes ago.
Right.
Or you can manually hit the, I mean, if you're about to make a change like that, I personally would hit save book manually before I made the change in case I wanted to go back. So that might be a good sort of workflow to get into.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make clear right there. So so that we wouldn't, because it's possible that I've been working on something for 5 minutes, and the last save happened just before I started working on it, and then I hit delete. It won't be there. I have to start all over at least the last 5 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But it's definitely better than just losing content. So we've, after a couple of discussions with Cheryl and a couple others, we figured 10 minutes was every 10 minutes was a good distance of time.
Okay.
We just can't afford to lose the content, Michael.
Yeah, there won't be any more of that happening.
Thank you.
No problem. It was just as much of the bane of my existence as it was for you guys. Believe me, that's the last thing I wanted to happen. So we've done a multitude of things to make sure that that will not happen again.
That's good news.
All right, so then a couple of other things that we've changed. So now, the way that this works now is individual chapter names. So you see title, table of contents, who is Baywork, knowledge transfer tools, correspond with what you see in the front-end navigation. Very similar to an actual book. You'll see chapter 1 through 20 in the front part of a book, and then you can go to the beginning of that chapter and move through all of those pages. So if I click on knowledge transfer tools, it takes me to what would be this knowledge transfer tools section of slides here. But right now I just have a blank slide that says knowledge transfer tools, just so that we have something at the beginning of this slide, or at the beginning of this section, and then if I just start hitting next, we move through the slides sequentially.
How is the system recognizing that a page is the first page of a chapter?
By its order. So if I open up this category descriptions chapter, you can see this is page 1 in the chapter, page 2 in the chapter, page 3 in the chapter. And then
So it happens that people created their different chapters one by one. That was how we did it, because that was just our process. But if you had been working on 2 chapters and you were doing them in aggregate, would there be some way that you would be labeling the first page of chapter 1 and the second page and the first page of chapter 2 in such a way the system would know it was an individual chapter, or do chapters always need to be created separately?
Chapters will always need to be created separately, and they are created empty. So let me show you an example. So I hit this create a new chapter button right here. It'll ask me what I want the name of my chapter to be. So let's do test chapter. And I hit OK.
Okay, good.
Automatically adds it right. And then you can see most of the other chapters that have slides in or pages in the chapter have this little downward facing arrow, which is sort of like an accordion panel. So you can see all of the different slides that are in that particular chapter. If it does not have that little arrow, like this new test chapter we created here, that means it does not have any pages in the chapter. And in that instance, you can either add a page by clicking this button right here, add a new page in this chapter, to which there's now a page within the test chapter. Or you can reorder, if you hit the reorder slides button, you can move and reorder individual pages into individual other chapters. So for example, I wanted to move the title into the test chapter. I can just click and drag it into the test chapter. And then you just hit save order. And then now, because we have a slide in test chapter, if I reload the front end, you will see some content on this slide. Oh, I didn't save and publish the book. That's why that didn't save, publish. You'll now see it says test chapter. So you can then go directly to that chapter. And if you're in these books and you don't want that particular chapter you created, you can just hit this little X, delete that chapter, and it deletes it. Then we save book and we publish it again. And then if you want to reorder individual chapters, you can just click this reorder chapters button, and then you are able to very easily click and drag chapters around. So this is much easier, at least in my opinion, than just using a bunch of numbers at the bottom of the screen to try to reorder. And now there's a visual representation also of individual slides in a chapter. So you can easily do it on the fly. You can easily reorder on the fly.
I'm sorry, where did it say reorder chapter?
Right up here at the top of the sidebar. So there's this chapters sidebar panel. When you create a new chapter, you can either reorder chapters or reorder slides.
Oh, okay.
And this will always be present on the right-hand side when you're in the back end. All right, so then let's see, other things. Presentation, status links, learn more button. Okay, so let me show you guys how the new learn more button. First of all, this is what it looks like on the front end. So if we go to the last page in workforce reliability, we've got this addition, and I added this as a test. We can change this to however you guys ultimately want to integrate this into the book. But I created a new page called additional resources, and when you click learn more, it pulls in all of the resource, and I went through and created thumbnails for everything in here also, so you guys can see what it would look like. And it sorts all of the signatories or agencies in alphabetical order. And I went through and counted the number that we have visible in Synapse, and then matched how many we had visible in the back end of the Baywork website to make sure that we had them all. So as of right now, this should be all of them, or all of the resources that are related to workforce reliability planning. So you can see now it says the full name, it's sorted in alphabetical order, and I went ahead and created unique thumbnails for each thing so it looks a little bit better. And then you can cycle through.
So this doesn't have to do with your functionality. I'm just trying to think of how to, some of the cleanups to get it ready for the signatory meeting. So we'll just need some other wording to view resources produced by something like contributing agencies or something like that.
Yeah, and that's easily, I mean, the nice thing about this obviously is if you're in the back end and I go to knowledge transfer, if I can workforce reliability planning, I can go and see, okay, the button's on this particular slide, and that you can obviously just very easily change the text.
Okay, so that functionality right now that exists on all of the chapters that have been published?
That functionality currently, well, the functionality works for wherever we want it to work, but I only went in and manually added thumbnails for workforce reliability. But I can do, if we've got content for all the other chapters, I can go ahead and have somebody from my team do it so that we've got everything ready to go, just because the thumbnails you guys had done way back when wouldn't work, so we went ahead and just redoing them so that they look better. But the way that the Learn More button works, so let's say, for example, just so that you guys know this for the future, if you want to create a new Learn More button, it's called this resource drawer. Then it obviously brings up this blue button that you double click on, and then you can change the title of the name, or the title of the button. So we'll just call it resource drawer, click here. And then let's say, for example, we want to display all of the resources that are related to candidate development. And then it pulls up all of these different resources and has what they're labeled as. So SFQC, there's a bunch more over here, and all you basically do is you hit add all, and then you'll get a preview. So we changed this so that it shows you the way that the content will be formatted on the front end. So you'll see that it's got this video under ACWD, it's got this video under Baywork, so if I hit OK, and we've got this resource drawer here, save book, publish, we'll go back to that additional resources page and reload. Then we see this resource drawer, click here button again. And then when you click it, you'll see it opens up the exact same way that we saw in the preview, except this doesn't have thumbnails. So we'll have to go through and add, some of them have thumbnails. We'll have to go through and add the thumbnails.
So somehow with SFPC it's spelling it out, but with USD it's not. I thought that that you were always gonna blow up where you saw the whole title and not the acronym.
We will. I just didn't get a chance to enter all of the acronyms for everything yet that Alan sent. I only made sure to have the ones done for the Knowledge Transfer Toolkit, or I'm sorry, Workforce Reliability.
All right, so it will end up where SMUD isn't spelled out either.
Anyway, what does SMUD stand for? I even went to their website and couldn't figure it out.
Sacramento Municipal Utility District, I think.
Okay, so Sacramento.
But it should have been spelled out on that acronym sheet that Alan has. If not, if you can't find it, I mean, it's supposed to be that he's got a table that shows the full name for all of them. If that turns out not to be true, let us know.
Here, I'll show you right now. That's the one in Alan's spreadsheet that did not have any full name. It just says SMUD again.
Oh.
Yeah. Everything else is in there. So here, I can show you the list real fast.
Okay.
Signatory list, acronyms for agencies. So, I'm assuming you can see my screen again. So we've got SMUD, S-M-U-D, just SMUD.
Okay, so that was a mistake with the table.
Yeah, but it's relatively easy to change that in the back end too. That's just in the resources section. So here, you've got Sacramento Municipal Utilities District or Department?
It's district, but I'm a little uneasy. Robert, do you have a memory? I don't know if it's utility, just Y or IES.
I'll confirm it in a second here.
I found it. It's just utility. Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Utility district. All right. I will make sure to update that. So then the other thing I did with the Knowledge Transfer Toolkit is I noticed that there were some inconsistent headings and some of the fonts were inconsistent. So I went through each and every slide and made sure that we were using the same style header for each page just so that it looked cleaner and that everything looked nicer.
Do we have a guide telling us, I think we do, but I just want to confirm, telling us what all those things should be?
I mean, I can write something out. There's not really a what they should be. There's just what they should be in order to be consistent. So what I'm setting them as.
It's really important to us, right?
Right. I mean, I think it should be. I think that there should be some sort of synthesis between the way that you're labeling pages. So yes, but what I'll do is I'll update the knowledge base and show you guys some default font styles. So what we're using here is just header 1, and then it's size 18, and then it's
really. I'm thinking, Michael, of people that are going to come after us and do this. If we could have, you know, these.
But would they be adding the Knowledge Transfer Toolkit, or would they be making their own books?
Well, I don't know, but it may not always be the same players if it's going to be an ongoing document, you see, and we may be bringing other people into the fold, so it would be nice to have them be consistent with us if we had something like the standards written down or something.
Yeah. So I think his point is that you could have a style guide for the Knowledge Transfer Toolkit, but you might use the Synapse software and have a different style guide for a different document.
Right. So I can write one up for the Knowledge Transfer Toolkit, but that might change in the future. It's really just about making sure that whoever's editing them that's adhere to what's been done thus far, or create their own.
Well, that's really our judgment call in terms of what we want the style to be. So we should be able to encapsulate what we want the style to be as the publishers, because Baywork is the publisher.
Do you agree,
Right.
Adam, that we should have a style guide so everybody can follow it?
I do, but I think that
But we should agree.
Baywork should be the one creating the style guide.
Okay.
What I'll do is, just to make it easier, is I'll pull all of the styles that we're currently using in the Knowledge Transfer Toolkit and send them to you guys as a style guide. So if you want to make deviations and modifications from that, then at
Then
least
we
you've
can
got
modify that.
Right.
Does that work for you,
That
Adam?
sounds absolutely.
Yeah,
a great
me too.
start.
Thank you, Michael.
No problem.
That's great. And Michael, this is Corey. I was noticing in some instances I'm able to, when I was putting in new text today on the contextualized learning book, I was able to go outside the border, if you will. And then in other instances, I was not allowed to go outside the border. So and once I went outside the border as far as the text is concerned, I was able to change it as far as the horizontal, but if I wanted to move the whole unit upward, say closer to the top of the line.
It has to be in the box.
The way
right?
the way I've been doing is the top and the bottom of the line, I stay within the horizontal lines, and the vertical I've been going beyond if text demands it. I know the smaller squares indicative of the size of the smaller screens for people that have laptops and such.
Yeah, so I mean, ideally, and
but
you're right.
I'm just saying that I found that I was able to go outside the border in some instances.
It is able to be broken by doing that. But you'll notice that once you have text that is outside of the border,
yep,
you cannot click and drag it.
Yeah.
So it's got to be inside the border to click and drag.
Oh, got you. Okay. Got it. All right.
And the way we locked things inside of the border is because it's very easy with so many different people working on books to end up with content that's all over the place.
Right.
And in order to create standardization or some sort of style guide or whatever, it's important that we lock everything into a certain sort of canvas. And this also makes it much more easy to handle responsiveness if it's locked in a canvas.
Okay, that explains it.
And Michael, just to confirm from our last meeting, or raise a question about the other platforms, mobile devices. I think you told us that this things outside of this border or outside the box, that the mobile devices has its own way of organizing things, so that doesn't affect that at all. Is that accurate?
Yes, but what should happen ideally is all of the content should be within the box.
All right.
It sort of future-proofs the content as much as possible.
Yes.
So ideally, it's generally a good idea to always try to get the content within the box.
So
and then
Corey, I know
leave it up to the platform to scale for you.
Corey, I know you're an out-of-the-box thinker.
Yeah, I'm out of the box. I'm in a box.
All right, let's see. What other things have we recently added? Let's go back to the dashboard. So this now showcases the correct amount of chapters and pages per book. Currently, we've got this new latest activity field over here also that says the user, and then what they did with a book. So if they published it or if they deleted it. We're still experimenting with what other events to add into here, because we obviously don't need it to say, Corey moved text from here to here, but we might want it to say Corey published a new book or Corey added a new slide. So you might not necessarily need to look at this latest activity right now, but this was something that was very helpful for us when we were trying to figure out what was going on with the missing content. And it's just helpful for you guys as authors of content to figure out what's going on within the platform.
As a historical thing, was the documentation chapter ever integrated into the, was there ever a time that Brenda had put the documentation chapter into the knowledge transfer toolkit, or has it always been living alone?
It's always been living alone, at least to the best of my
Okay.
knowledge. I've never connected the two.
Okay.
So like, for example, this particular chapter, this documentation chapter, that's got text outside. So if we want to be able to move the text, it should be inside, and then we can scale some of the images down also. So if you guys would like, I can go through all of these and fix the content. And try to reorganize things, especially if something's going to be added into the knowledge transfer toolkit, since I've been the one ultimately that's sort of developed the look and feel of that. I can continue to do so for the new chapters.
I think that's a good offer.
Okay. So the process that we should take for that is, as you guys finish a chapter, let me know, and then I can go. I mean, the merge functionality is here for you guys to do on your own if you'd like, but if you want me to handle it, I can go and merge all of the books together as you need them, and then make sure that they're all skimmed the same way too.
So is what we're primarily talking about the documentation and the work modification and the training chapters?
Yes, I mean, and then, yeah, so training development, work modification, see what our tools are. All the different tools, yeah. So we have workforce reliability, obviously, already good to go. Work modification, documentation, training development, and knowledge sharing systems, yeah. So as soon as those are ready as you guys would want them to be, you can just let me know and I can take care of that. I can add in the Learn More button also.
So
Michael, this is Catherine. I haven't had a chance to really sit down with my modification chapter yet, but I'm hoping to get to that early next week and complete it and finish it up. So I should just let you know when I do that after I get it published?
Yes, that would be perfect. And then I will go and make sure the Learn More button is added in correctly, make sure it's merged into the Knowledge Transfer Toolkit and replaced in the right location. And
I don't have to worry about it changing.
You don't have to worry about it changing.
Okay.
Hey, Michael?
Yes, sir.
This is Adam. So my comments about the, so I went to the link with the published knowledge transfer toolkit, and so when you hit the lines at the side to bring up the sidebar menu, I would typically expect the content in the main panel to rescale such that you can still read the content while you're looking at the sidebar. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying, and I've actually seen it more frequently with the way that this is working now in terms of the fact that they're more like panels. So when this opens up, it pushes the content over. It could be something where the content dynamically scales, but I'd have to probably, we'd have to
look,
structure.
So like, I mean, just for example, like the WebEx platform that we're looking at right now, if we click any of these buttons on the sidebar, the main panel resizes, right? So you can still see the content in the screen.
Let's see. I have one of these buttons. Yeah, but it still moves over.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yes, I'm fine with the moving over. I like the moving over. I just mean that, like I'll click on the knowledge, let's see, category descriptions. I click on the category descriptions from the menu, and I can't read the text because the left quarter of it slides off the screen.
Oh, all right. Well, then what we can do is make it so that when you click on one of these, the panel automatically closes.
Panel the category. So
yeah, so let's say you click Workforce Reliability Planning. As it's loading this chapter up, this panel will close. So it'll automatically load in the middle like that.
wait, so you're saying you will automatically close the side panel?
Yes.
Well, I think it's valuable to be able to have the side panel up to scroll through, like to be able to see what the content is while you're looking at the table of contents.
Oh, I see
and
what you're saying. Okay, so that you can move. Okay.
You see what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. Yes. All right, let me try to think of some other ways to handle that.
I noticed on my screen, which is pretty large, I don't have that functionality issue. When the chapter's open, I can still read everything.
Yeah, and I mean, I obviously can't go on my giant monitor here, but certain ones will work that way.
On my laptop right now, it just cuts off. It cuts off a significant amount. So like, oh yeah, your screen doesn't seem to have any issue.
I have the same issue with my screen, and I think, Michael, we had talked about it before.
Yeah. I'll see if there's something that we can do about that. On that same note,
Actually, on that note, when you do add a new chapter, you have to go to the table of contents page and add a hyperlink there to so that when people are there. So it's not just putting a chapter in and calling it a day. You have to actually add it to the table of contents, hyperlink it to, if it's not in the table of contents already, but install the hyperlink so that people will be able to just click on the table of contents and go right there.
Right. So, I mean, there's two tables of contents. There's this one stage table of contents, obviously. So this one, you will have to manually type in the new chapter and then link it. But in the platform table of contents, it'll automatically appear.
Gotcha.
What I was going to mention was this full screen button. We never really talked about this, but I thought that maybe it would be helpful for you guys. We can definitely easily pull it out. But I figured during presentations, it might be helpful for you not to have to sit in the browser window like this. And you could just easily hit this full screen button and then make it more of an immersive platform.
That's helpful.
So this isn't a design issue, but just since the presentation to the signatories is imminent, it seems important to go back through this text. For example, there are some chapters that indeed we do plan to create them, but they don't exist now. And Robert, since you're probably the person who's going to be making the presentation, just to decide whether you want to eliminate the ones that aren't there yet or just go ahead and keep them up there as an indicator of work yet to be done.
I say keep them.
Okay. I think that's realistic. I mean, if we're still planning to do them, it's...
Yeah, I have that from my knowledge, and even for you guys, I have them as blank chapters in the actual knowledge transfer toolkit as placeholders. So because there's no slides in them, they won't show up on the front end, but I do know we need content for work modification, documentation, training and development, and knowledge sharing systems.
And there are two case studies that we don't have yet also. And we were going to change one of them, right, Robert, to you wanted to have that guy from Virginia?
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, so I actually had a question about some of the case studies, just in terms of their order, because the Bayware case study is significantly longer than the other case studies. I wasn't sure in which order we wanted these in.
There's only one case study written now.
Okay. Well, we've got this case study, which is the Plattsburgh one.
That's not a case study.
Okay, so should these not be called case study then?
No. Well, I mean, maybe there was, I think it'd be confusing to use that language in the chapter because we're using it very specifically to mean those those chapters that really give a full picture of that agency's functioning.
Okay, so this should be, so in theory, this is another successful example of proactive workforce reliability planning is blah, blah, blah. So this should technically be at the end of the workforce reliability planning chapter?
I don't know why it says case study 1 and case study 2. I take it that that was just an editing decision that was made at one point, but I think it's confusing because case study is being used for those larger chapters at the end, whereas this is just an example. And the text already says example. So what I think is that you could just eliminate the word case study 1 and eliminate the word case study 2. I didn't put it in there, so if somebody else wants to make an argument for keeping it the way it is, they can, but I think it's confusing.
I agree with you. We just call it example 1, example 2. I think they were just using it to prove whatever the narrative was saying as an example of whatever point they were making in the narrative, and they just call it case study.
Okay, that makes sense then. So then I'll change them to, and you see how I'm renaming these chapters easily here. Example 2.
Hey guys, sorry about this. I have to jump off. I've got somebody here that I need to set up a classroom for.
All right, Catherine.
So this only goes 7 more minutes, and you're taping it, right, Robert? So I'll catch it there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael, for all that you've done. I really appreciate your attention to our concerns.
Absolutely, that's what I'm here for.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So now we've got example 1 and example 2 instead of case study. And those can be changed on the fly as you guys want.
Right, so anybody could change that in editing, but
Anybody.
so we only have one case study.
Right, the Baywork one, right.
Right.
All right, let's see. What else do you guys have on the agenda here? Innovation chapter, slide order, documentation chapter, links operation on page 2 of table of contents. Yeah, so that, as Corey just mentioned, that's done manually. So on the table of contents, this is just a big text field. So the way that I'm linking them up is I would just select the text and then just put a link in. And the easiest way to get the link for the front end of the individual slide you want to go to is just go to the front end of the book, then go to that actual page, and then you can just copy the link. Learn more button additions. So as you saw, the Learn More button has been updated and is functional in the Workforce Reliability Planning chapter. And I can update that as you guys deliver the finalized chapters. That's no problem. Status of modifications to agencies' full names that I went ahead and took care of also, and I'll update the SMUD one. How to integrate chapters into the Knowledge Transfer Toolkit. We talked about merging slides. Discuss the ability of previewing before publishing. We don't have a preview function in here right now just because of the way that the books are made. So you can technically have a book that's not part of your main book that's sort of like a working book that you're working on, but individual slide previews is on our list of things to implement in Q3. So those should be implemented for you guys soon, but it's not in there currently. Cloning. I showed you guys how to clone slides just with this little clone slide button that is present on every single slide that you will see. So that's always there. Full screen button, we talked about that. The proper URL to access Synapse on the front end is just knowledge.baywork.org. And then if you want to go into an individual book or send somebody directly to an individual book, you can just click and then this link will work always. So what you see here is this is the domain, this is the title of the book, and then this is the slide that you want to start somebody on. So technically, if you wanted to, you could send somebody a link directly to slide 2, who is Bayward, just by going to the slide and copying the URL. Discuss the login page of Synapse. How should we use it, and when does it show? So the login page of Synapse is only required to access the back end. You do not need to log in to Synapse at all to view any of the front-end presentations or books. So the only time you'll ever need to log in is when you want to edit something in the presentation.
So then all of you guys have a login? That's how you get into the back end now?
Well, currently everybody's sharing a login, but
okay.
Part two of our latest activity, is adding individual logins for authors. So Cheryl will have a login, Robert, you'll have a login, Corey will have a login. That way everybody's got their own individual login, and we can track what everybody's doing using this latest activity panel everywhere.
Well, I don't want to log in. I'm that I don't need a login. They're being very professional about how they handle the things. So I'll just go.
All right. Well, whoever needs it. Yeah. I mean, we wanted to make that ability for you guys.
Okay.
So, but don't we want the login for if we want to look at chapters that aren't edited yet? I mean, I agree that I would have a horror of modifying something accidentally, but sometimes I may want to look at something that's not published yet. So that would be the reason I would want to have a login.
Yeah, and you can definitely do that. And once we can set it so you guys have as many logins that log directly into your Baywork dashboard as you want. So let's say Cheryl, you have a login and Corey has a login. You guys both will log in individually using your email address and your own password, but you'll both see the same screen here, and you'll have access to all the same stuff.
Yeah, that's fine, Cheryl. Okay.
So, I mean, outside of all of that new functionality, I still will update the knowledge base with more specific instructions on how to handle a lot of these newer items that we've talked about here today. I will send the knowledge transfer toolkit style guide based on what we're currently doing, just so that you guys have something to work off of moving forward.
So, Michael, will those be books on Synapse, or what will be the format of those things?
Of which things?
Like there's going to be a style guide, and then there
I'll
was
put it in the knowledge base, which is not in Synapse. It's in this other WordPress that we have here. Just to give you other details. Create a book. I can add merging a book. Different things like that in here. That should make it easier to use.
So it's about Synapse, but it's not in Synapse? Is that what you're saying?
Correct. It's just this. If you click under Help, View Knowledge Base, then that's where this is.
Oh, okay. So if we're in Synapse, we can get to it from Synapse.
Yes, you can.
Okay. So if that's all, that stuff that's all available from the back end of Synapse?
Correct.
Okay. And then could we look at the resource library, because I'd like to see how the different data elements are being displayed on every resource. Okay. Yeah,
so
thanks.
The exact way that I was going through and modifying the thumbnails for workforce reliability. So I would come to the resource section, and I would hover over topic, because I only wanted to see resources that were related to workforce reliability. So I click that, and then it pulls in all of the resources that are related to workforce reliability planning. So then you can see what agency they're affiliated with, and then what type of file it is, and you can always hit this edit button to go to the actual resource itself and see what is within the resource itself.
Okay, so you're using the word agency, but it says signatory at the top. So probably if you could just change it to be agency. Do you see how your sort is just relabel it to be agency?
No problem. I can very easily do that.
Okay. And then if something had two different topics, which many of them do, would it then would show up in this same column? Then maybe it would have several topics?
Yeah, it shows up. So let's say, for example, we click on this interest card, and you can see this is related to workforce reliability planning and technical training. So it's got multiple tags on it.
But when you're looking at the resource, why is it only showing you one of those?
Because that's just the primary one. We're just having it display the first one that it sees, just so that it's labeling something, and if we were to have a comma here, it would end up running, the text would end up running into each other.
Okay. So then how do you get the greater detail on the particular resource?
So you can do one of two things. From this view, you can click on any of them, and it slides a panel down that gives you a little bit more detail. Or you can hit this edit button, and the edit button takes you to the actual page where you can make changes to all of that information. Like if we don't want it to also be a site visit, we can take that out and submit.
Okay, so it got converted with every one of those things as different data elements, and then you can sort by the ones that are shown. So, for example, you can sort by author. I didn't. What is that? What does author mean?
It just pulls. So there's just let me see if I can find one. Like this one. So it's Pam John. It's just labeled as a tag. So we're just here looking for tags of who might be an author. And this can be removed because it's not really an exact science. You can obviously see that it's got some agencies in here too. But it does have all of the people that would be considered authors also. So if you
I see. So what it does is it shows you everything, including some things it doesn't need, but still, so you don't enter something for it to search by. It just shows you everything that exists, and maybe you find what you're looking for.
Exactly.
Okay. So if somebody had authored about 20 different things, which say for Jim McPherson's probably is exactly the case, then he would appear 20 times, but you would get to him at some point?
Yeah, so here, let's just, Jim McPherson. All that's in here currently, at least tagged, and I can look at this, are content of his related to training and development. So if there's more, then it just probably hasn't been tagged yet because we haven't done the training and development chapter yet. And I haven't tagged it so that it can appear in the Learn More button.
Are you doing the tagging?
Yeah, for now, yes. I mean, currently, just because I didn't want it to be difficult for you guys, but yes. I am currently.
But I'm confused by why you're having to tag them, because I thought that we were only bringing over content that was already on the Baywork database.
We are only bringing content that's from the Baywork database, but for example, like if I go, and I just noticed this, if I search Jim McPherson's name, I get much more content than if I just select him here. So I can look and see what's going on with that. But everything is tagged, and it is tagged the way that it was tagged in the Baywork website. So the only thing you might want to do to clean it up is remove tags that aren't technically useful, if such a tag exists. Like, for example, this one has a lot of tags, and it may or may not need all of these tags. But in any case, you can also click on the tags button, and you can see all of the different the resources associated with an individual tag. And then there's some duplicates too. So that's why it's showing this many. But we've got 300. Well, yeah, because there's only like 200 and something resources in the Bulwark website associated with the chapters we're building. But 322 got imported. So there's some stuff that we don't need in here.
But on the other hand, some of the stuff that got imported may relate to chapters you haven't published yet.
Right.
Like we haven't finished the knowledge management chapter, but some things would already have been labeled as that. Which reminds me of the functionality that we had talked about before of somehow having, if something gets entered with a label of, say, work modification, that would in the future automatically get transferred to the Synapse from Baywork. I'm guessing that hasn't been programmed in yet.
Right, that has not. But the other issue that comes up sometimes is things like this. Different spellings. So that's one way to spell his name, and then this is a different way to spell his name.
Right.
And then this is yet a third way to spell his name.
Right.
So when I say clean up the tags, that's what I mean. So like you also see there's 2 categories of EvMod or 2 categories of Ed Sullivan.
Uh-huh.
And when I'm going and building the Learn More buttons, I'm just cleaning these up, just as it comes up.
Okay. But that issue of reconversion, because like I'm aware of, there's a video that's been done, but I haven't told Alan yet to add it to the Baywork website. So a few additional resources are dribbling in, especially from videos. So it's not our most immediate problem, but I just want to just kind of stay mindful that everything that you've converted isn't the sum total of everything that'll ever need to be converted.
Oh, it definitely is not, and I know that.
Yeah. So do you have a way that you, I guess, I'm assuming that if you did a conversion once, you would have a way to just go back in and do another sweep there?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
That's exactly what we can do.
Okay.
Let's see. What other questions or anything we want to go through? I just want to make sure that this is what it needs to, because the presentation is the 20th.
Yeah. I want to make sure I understand about where we are with 11, because on that agenda thing, discuss status of search feature being added to the front end. I understood that to be a generic search similar to what's on the Baywork website.
Yes. So that we haven't added in yet, but the place we were thinking of putting it, and I think you and I talked about this before, was in this panel. So maybe something at the bottom here that says search resources. And then you can type there. And then
That sounds fine to me. I don't really have an opinion on it. I just think it's a useful functionality.
Yeah, that's the only thing from this list that hasn't been added yet, and it's because we chose to focus on some of the version control stuff and some of the more important content-focused things first. But we can definitely add the search feature at the front end.
Okay.
Eleanor, are you still there? Guess not. Okay.
Okay, so on the chapters then, example 1 and example 2 will go away, right, under the table of contents?
Well, so I just renamed those to that. Where should the content that is in those chapters go?
Well, the thing is that all they are is just pages in that other chapter. So somehow they've been given a priority that's not merited. All they are is ending pages of the work. Okay, can I see the chapters again?
Yeah, workforce. So here's all the chapters on the right-hand side, too.
Yeah. So workforce reliability planning, those two little things that said case study 1 and case study 2, they were nothing but the last pages of the workforce reliability planning chapter.
All right, perfect. Then this is a good example. So what I'm going to do here is I'll click reorder slides because I want to take the slide out of that chapter right here, this example 1 chapter, and I want to bring it up to the end of workforce reliability planning, which is right here. This is should it be before or after the learn more button in that chapter?
It should be before the learn more button. It's simply a page in that chapter.
All right, so we just moved to that one. And then what we can do is we can then go and we grab from example 2.
Right.
And we just drag them up to the end.
We're not seeing your movement. I'm not seeing it anyway.
Oh, you can't see them? Okay, that's probably just something from GoToMeeting, but I'm definitely moving slides around.
Oh, okay.
I can see it.
Oh, okay, I see it now.
It looks like a PowerPoint getting moved around, sort of.
Yeah, which was the objective. We wanted to make it a little bit more familiar. So let's drag this one back up there too. All right, so now those have all been successfully reordered, and we can see example 1 and example 2 are both empty. So we go up to the top, we hit save order. Then we don't want these to show up in the navigation anymore, so we just hit X, delete it, X, delete it, save book.
Okay, good.
And they should disappear. Yep. Good to go.
Is that showing the page number on the left? I don't see it on my screen, but it surely must. Okay, yeah, gotcha.
Here. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I see it now.
What other questions or things do we want to run through?
I don't have any. I wanted to ask Eleanor, did she have any questions? But you still there, Corey?
I am here, yes.
Are you?
I was wondering, I was curious to see if Catherine's chapter has been able to be reordered. Were we able to get that?
an innovation book, so I don't even know where that is. No, where did she build it?
You don't see a what kind of book?
Well, something that says innovation anywhere in here.
No,
No,
I think
it's,
it was,
you did the workforce
modification.
modification one?
Yes.
So there it
It was
is.
work modification,
Okay.
not innovation.
Gotcha, that's why I was confused. I mean, I'll look back and see if I can find the order of it, but if not, I mean, it's something that we'll just need to reorder. I mean, and I can probably try to figure out how this was ordered.
What is the status of it? I'm confused, actually. Were we seeing that on the front end, or we're only seeing it on the back end?
Seeing what?
Seeing what?
The chapter on work modification, is it only on the back end that it's visible because it hasn't been published?
Right.
That's right.
Okay. Okay, well, so that's got to be, somebody's got to get it reordered quick to have it be ready for the signatory meeting.
The training and development chapter has been reordered. And I think the knowledge sharing systems wasn't an issue because for some reason that came out when it was updated or transitioned. It didn't get out of order for some reason, but definitely the others did.
So in terms of action items on our side, documentation, maybe you're going to need to help Brenda Donald with that, I think, because she's not on this training session to help.
Was that Brenda's was untouched. Maybe I mentioned the wrong one, but I thought so Brenda's documentation chapters, I remember her emailing saying that it looked fine.
Well, okay, but I wasn't talking about that. It needs to be added into the knowledge transfer toolkit in the appropriate place. I'm just trying to think of what's mop-up work that needs to be done here. And
is the way we should handle this. So I know there's a couple of chapters that are potentially out of order. There's a lot of things that I can do once.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh,
Sorry to interrupt, but I have to get out of here. I just wanted to let everybody know I'm leaving. Thanks for the time.
Okay.
It's good to see a demo of how this is working out.
Thanks, Adam.
Okay, thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye, Adam.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, so in the effort of time and convenience, if you guys could reorder them for me, I can do the rest of it. It's just not necessarily a good use of my time to go through databases and try to find an old order for 15 slides when you guys would
I agree. So with documentation, it seems like, Corey, that maybe if documentation never got out of order, maybe you can just help Brenda bring it into the fold.
Okay, I'll ask her if it's ready to go, and I'll communicate with her, and then maybe I can reach out to you, Michael, so we can walk through the paces and do it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, and then with work modification, Catherine will have to reorder it, and then when it's ready to be added, if either you or Michael could help her, just stick it in the right place.
So do we know where the right place is?
Yes, because you look at if you go to the Knowledge Transfer Toolkit, it gives you the order of the chapters.
Great. Got it.
The table of contents will tell you exactly where it goes. The table of there. See that?
Yes. So, got it.
I could move it there for you guys, or we can do another. Maybe it would be helpful to do another session like this for 30 minutes where after I get all the content organized and published, I can move it for you live and show you how I'm doing it.
One other thing, this is a kind of a trivial thing, but while we're looking at it, that Baywork case study should be in blue and have a link to, because indeed it exists.
Yeah, okay, yeah, here, I just didn't link that one up yet, but I definitely
can. So there's no lack of clarity about the order. The training, do you happen to know the status of that, the training and development chapter, Corey?
It's all in the, no, I haven't talked to Eleanor since I sent her an email telling her that I reordered it in the correct order. So I don't know if she's had a chance to work on it at all. I know she has a little more work to do.
So do we know if it's considered finished from a content point of view, or should she still working on it?
I don't have the answer to that question, but I can send her an email and ask her.
Okay, because it feels to me like the goal by the time of the signatory meeting should be to have that, even if she's got a thought of something else to be added to it later. I think she's got a whole lot of content in there. So she could kind of stop, you know what I mean, and go ahead and put whatever's done into the book.
Okay.
I mean, that'd be my suggestion, because there's a whole lot of content in that book, you know, in her chapter already.
Right, right.
And then the goal would be, then it would have all of the chapters, the basic chapters in there, except for knowledge sharing. Robert, does that make sense to you as a goal?
Yes.
Okay.
Who wrote the knowledge sharing system?
Well, I know that I sent her text and she's done some work on it, but it's not close, because I didn't even, she doesn't have a complete text on that. So
We're
it's
talking
not
about
a goal
Illinois.
for the, yeah,
You're
yeah,
saying
so
that-
it's not a realistic goal for the time of the signatory meeting, but all the other chapters could be in a decent form by then. Other than the case studies, not the case studies.
Okay.
So I don't know how you plan to, for the signatory meeting, are you planning to do a live demo where you're actually going through the book?
Yes, I was going to show them what it's looking like, and at least that, yeah.
Yeah. So to have all of them that are ready be in there, and for all of them to have the Learn More component working will be important by the time of the signatory meeting.
That should be no problem whatsoever. That requires
Okay.
none of that requires any development, so that should be very easy.
Okay, good.
Okay.
All right.
You're good.
If you have any other questions, definitely let me know. But otherwise, I hope that this has been helpful and you guys would get up to.
And Michael, I liked your idea of scheduling some other meeting follow-up. Hopefully it's one Brenda could attend, but to have some kind of a little mop-up meeting scheduled before
The signatory meeting.
Yeah, I
would like
think so.
At least the week before the signatory meeting. So in the event we need to do something, we've got a little bit of time to do so.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense to me. I won't be here, but I would encourage you to do that.
Okay.
Let me know your availability, Michael, and when you get a chance that week before, and then I'll set something up.
All right, I will do that. That's no problem. All right. Otherwise, thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.
Oh, and thank you, Michael. I appreciate it too.
Anytime.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Michael.
right,
And
okay,
Robert,
guys.
you're going to send out the link to the recorded part
Yeah.
of, or this recording so that we can review it.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank
All right,
you.
guys. Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Michael.
Of course.